Good morning, or wait, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to everyone who has joined us here for this weekly podcast. We have 4 individuals here to talk to you, every single one of the 4 corners of the Speaker's Corner. Welcome to our host. Let me start with the most lit from behind of our hosts, Frank Hevington. Say good morning, or good afternoon, Frank.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jeff.
Thank you, sir. And you are under the shadow of the North Carolina Appalachian Mountains. Is that not correct?
Yes, I'm under the shadow of the Smokies.
The shadow of the Smokies. To the shadow of the smoke, we shall all say hello. Let me move on to our most southern host. Michelle Lynch. Let me say good afternoon or good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. And that is in lovely and illustrious Gainesville, Florida, where they recently ran an ad against the bill to prevent transsexuals from being able to go into whatever bathroom they want by saying that child molesters would walk into girls' rooms. It was very atrocious. It was on last week tonight. If you haven't watched it, it's worth a laugh.
Is that just
ridiculous.
Gainesville, or is that
Gainesville ran it.
Okay.
It was run in Gainesville, in our lovely town of Meeting, Gainesville, Florida. And let me go to the most progressive of our situations. Thom, in the lovely Northeast, where they think of everything in a more forward-thinking concept. Say good afternoon, Thom.
Good afternoon.
Forward-thinking.
Is that not it? Is that not appropriate?
I mean, we do have a borderline socialist mayor, but you know,
that is correct. And I am also one of your hosts in the currently in the southeast corner. My name is Jeff Wheeler, and I'm under the shadow of the Gold Dome here in lovely and, dare I say it, illustrious Atlanta, Georgia.
And now it's officially a podcast.
This is your cast for the week, including 7/19/2015. We have done it a little later today, just so that we could see different lights on each other. Really, that was the goal and the purpose, was to see what we all look like in different lighting, right? So,
which is very helpful to our listening audience.
That is correct. So, very awesome in our...
Well, speaking of awesome, how about Donald Trump?
Should we speak of Donald? The Trump card. So, apparently this week, Donald, the guy with the fluff muffin on his head, has spoken about what this week? Not about Mexicans, but about...
Senator John McCain.
That's right.
Can I just say the memes
quote-unquote war hero, Senator John McCain.
I saw a meme somewhere that said he is the Biff Tannen of 2015.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's really well. Yeah.
Yeah, that vibrates with me because it's got some resonance.
Because Biff has the casino, and of course Trump has Atlantic City.
Does Trump still do things in Atlantic City?
Yeah, there's a boom industry in closing down casinos.
Ah, gotcha.
Demolitions is really expanding.
And he has a number of casinos, does he not?
He may still have. I mean, I know at least one's folded, but I think he still has the Trump and the Sahara or the something kind of Arabesque. Yes, the Donald. My problem is, if I want to jump in, is, you know, we talk about how many people, maybe not all the people here, but I know a lot of people talk about how he is kind of seems to be much of a joke, but he's a joke that's currently polling in first place.
No way.
Yes.
Yeah, he's what? What he's bringing
wow.
Like 31%
Mind you, it's a first place of
right
19%.
Oh, it's 19%.
Right, but it's still first place.
I think you're on mute, Michelle.
It's still first place.
Right, and what a friend of mine wrote and said is she thinks that it's people, for some reason, appreciate his moxie
That's
Like he's saying the
there's
things
not
that
a lot.
we
That
want to
is-
say, but no one's saying, and it's like, no,
That's not
Yeah, but
moxie.
I do appreciate his moxie. He's allowed to be wrong, but he still has moxie. So I'll give him props for moxie and detractors for saying something that's wrong.
Wait a second.
Michelle, your mic is hot. What were you trying to say a few seconds ago?
No, I'm catching up now to this
Okay.
discussion. Go ahead.
Allowed to be wrong. He's never right. He just makes stuff up as he goes.
But isn't that every single political candidate for every single office at every single level?
Not Jeb Bush. Not Mark Rubio.
Because Jeb Bush has it all figured out because his Mexican wife lets him understand things that the rest of us can't.
Okay, now you sound like. Are you contributing to Trump?
My point is that politicians inherently are disconnected from regular life. And with their disconnection from regular life, those are all shades of disconnection, right? There's some level of disconnection between who a politician is, whether they are a Kennedy or whether they are a man of the people, right?
No, there's there's being disconnected from regular life, and there's being disconnected from rational thinking.
And reality in general?
Yeah, I think he's to take it from that great Christopher Guest movie. He's taken it to 11.
Shout out to my boys with what is that? Spinal Tap.
Took me a second
Spinal
too.
Tap.
Yeah, he's taking it
he's-
to 11.
So
I'm tired.
He is taking it to 11, but there is a certain amount of value in one guy taking it to 11. That means that the next guy down in the tiers can take it to 10 and be rational, but still is able to say stuff that isn't trying to search for the middle ground.
But I don't get it,
Because
Jeff.
my problem with the last 3 elections that I've dealt with is everybody's searching for 5, right? Everybody's searching for the middle ground. They don't want to go... And let's just do it on an acid base. Everybody wants to be 7. They all want to be neutral, right? Nobody wants to go full conservative, caustic number 14, and nobody wants to go 1 full acid. Everybody wants to go 7. And if everybody's going 7, then you got nowhere. Then you're really not getting anywhere as a society. And I feel like there's a huge amount of value to somebody shaking the tree and letting new growth come out.
Yeah, I'd rather have a 7 on my skin than a 1 or 14.
Yeah, I'm not saying he needs to win. I'm just saying that he should sway, just like Ross Perot ran the groundwork for the contract with America and all the stuff that happened in 1994. I think that his influence,
92.
as Donald Trump is running right now, is going to be felt in the next election.
So, in your opinion, who is more of an entertainer, Perot or Trump?
That is yet to be seen.
I do want to
Perot
mention.
had 2 elections. Go ahead.
I do want to mention that we are saying that he is leading, but by margin of error and everything else, and just because we are
Certainly.
we're not the media that will take something and make it bigger than it is. It needs to be. He is actually tied, essentially, with everyone. Now the question is, why is he even tied? That's the question.
But he's in first. He happens to be tied for first, but he's in first.
Well, so is Jeb Bush, and so is Scott Walker.
Oh, are they all tied at 19?
They're all tied, and with your
Walker?
margin
Who
of
is this?
error. Margin
ahead.
of error. Let's see. It's 18%. 18 for Trump, 15 for Scott Walker, 14 for Jeb Bush. When you account for the margin of error, which should always be accounted for in
yes.
like
I love
In
the
rational
margin.
they're
Error.
equal.
Yes.
They're equal.
I would vote for the margin of error if I could.
You kept saying this name Walker. Who is this Walker you speak of?
It's Wisconsin governor Scott Walker.
Ah, oh, is he running for president?
Has he put his hat in the ring?
Oh, did you speak like you got some soda pop in you?
I'm trying.
Oh man, get Garrison Keeler on the phone.
Garrison Keeler. Where all the girls are prettier and the boys are more well dressed. What is it? What is it he says?
Where all the
They're retiring.
all the women are strong, the men are good looking, and all the children are above average.
That's
Yeah.
Where
right.
the women are strong, the men are good looking, and all the children are above average. He's retiring,
He's
but the
retiring.
show will go on.
Right.
show
he's been
will go
grooming
on.
someone. But will
Yeah,
it
it's one of the guys from Nickel Creek.
Is that like Nickelback?
No, quite the opposite. It's like a contemporary bluegrass outfit.
So
He's
it's
done
not
a few
gonna be-
guests.
I thought it was going to be Ezra Klein was going to be his
What was the
name.
name of the show, guys? I've blanked.
Oh, hear that old
Prairie Home
piano.
Companion?
Prairie Home Companion.
I
But-
think Donald Trump should host that.
That would be what we'd call a ship show.
Meaning?
It's the politically correct way to say little shit.
Ah.
But getting back to the show,
Right, yes.
Scott Walker has joined the what I really like to think is the Republican primaries version of The Bachelor and Ets, where we're deciding which candidates people want to give a rose to. Scott Walker, who is many believe actually might be one of the more strong candidates and might actually be potentially the nomination, has a few
Marks.
issues.
Yep.
A few things that might kind of hold him back, but yeah, I would not be surprised if we see a head-to-head between he and Jeb Bush.
Yeah,
going.
and I support Scott Walker in a couple of things. Specifically, he had the courage to go against unions in something that he felt strongly about. Whether or not he was right, regardless of whether or not he was right, he had the strength and political will to just go after it. So I do enjoy moxie, right? And so there's a couple of candidates all that would have moxie. I would give Walker a bit of moxie for his going against teachers' unions. I would give Trump a little bit of moxie for saying stuff that's dumb in the public eye. I would give Governor Chris Christie some moxie points for his basic not giving a fuck about being very New Jersey in everything that he does. Any disagreements?
What does that mean, very New Jersey in everything he does?
There's a lot of backhanded deals that happen in the New Jersey world,
Okay.
right? That whole bridge concept, yeah. Yeah, I got you right here. We can make that happen for you.
We'll take your trash.
We'll take your trash. It's cool. Just bring it on over. I see the checks next week. We're good.
Gotcha.
Very, very much that Jersey concept.
So I believe there's now 12 Republican candidates.
No, there's like 600. But there may be 12 majors.
I think there's 16 majors.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the problem is that's why I think only 10 get invited to the debates. So, there could be potentially, significant candidates who are standing at the side. But I think it might be 16.
When do the debates actually start?
They're gonna tag team in.
Yeah. No, I think they're gonna have they're gonna have like a second debate in the parking lot.
So I'm going to go.
That's called a riot.
Whoa!
The Bushwhackers. I would have is Christie and Trump.
Okay.
NWO. Who would be the NWO guys?
The New World Order. Is there Ron Paul involved?
No, there's no Ron Paul involved in this cycle. No, I was referring to the wrestling outfit NWO.
Mm-hmm. I was just going with the New World Order concept.
So
Speaking
Marco
of-
Rubio?
If Mark Rubio was a wrestler, who would he be?
Oh,
If Marco Rubio, he would be one of those Mexican wrestlers with the mask on.
Luchadors.
Right. Is that
Did I
what they
get
call
that name right? Tom.
yes.
But there's
Okay.
always a dark one and there's always a white one. I
So
would
he'd
say
be-
he has a white mask.
He'd be Jimmy Snuka.
No, Superfly Jimmy Snuka didn't have a mask, but he was awesome.
Superfly.
But speaking of
Hey,
Mexican
cons-
wrestlers, you should watch the show Sense8. There's Mexican wrestlers involved, and it is an excellent show. It's on Netflix. Put it on your DVR. SENS number 8.
Is this one of those Netflix made it movies
Yep.
or shows?
No, yep.
I think it's by the Wachowski siblings, isn't it?
Yes, it's by the Wachowskis, and it's excellent.
Sorry to take the show off the rails there. I just had a...
No, you actually kind of lead into my next thing, which is about, we imagine candidates punching things. I got to talk to you about the awesomeness that is shark punching.
Explain?
Have any of you seen the video footage, and we'll put it in the show notes for all the viewers to watch later, Mick Fanning, the professional server in South Africa, punching a great white in the back. He's being attacked while he was preparing to ride his wave in competition, and just shark comes up, boom, punches that thing.
The shark comes up, takes the cord that is tied to his leg,
his leash,
tied to his and he starts pulling on that. And he didn't take his leg or anything first, thank God.
Right. Yeah, thank God.
Wow.
The best was, I believe, the sports commentator who went, "Oh shit, sorry about that." I'm like, no apologies needed. You just saw a shark go after a dude, man. So actually, I saw someone who said, from now on, punching something in the back should be called Mick fanning someone.
Mick Fanning someone.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm literally going to have to watch this video as we talk. It's cool.
Good thing it's up on our showcase.
Oh!
Exactly. Oh, nice.
Shark Attack live on TV.
So while he's watching that shark attack,
What sharks can we attack?
Frank is doing mime.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to work on that, man. I can see your. Oh,
what is your favorite?
That was a good one.
Mesopotamia.
My favorite country in Mesopotamia.
I would
Sumeria.
say
Yes. So what country in that area? Is that what you're going
specifically
for?
Mesopotamia. How about UAE?
I wanted you to say Cuba. What is that?
United Arab Emirates.
Ah.
But that's
What's
not
your
really
favorite one,
Mesopotamia.
Jeff?
Iran.
Yes.
Because
Why
it
is
rhymes
that?
with Iraq.
It rhymes in the front, not in the back.
Oh.
And they're Shia, not Shiite.
Holy
meme.
Shiite Muslim.
Thank you. It is meme.
It's meme, not mimi or
Mem.
memmy.
Mem. I hear mem all the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So what's next on the dockets?
Well, he was trying to lead into it. We were talking
Yeah, I was trying to
about-
lead into Iran, deal or no deal.
We were stumbling. We were tripping.
Yeah, it
I've
happened.
tried to do research on this, and I just get over hoops and hoops and hoops, and I get way too down the rabbit hole, and I just have to stop reading. 'Cause
Yeah.
I really don't know what's going on with it, and a lot of people say it's a good deal. A lot of people say it's a bad deal. I don't know who to believe.
What is the deal?
What is the deal?
What's the deal?
the deal?
So obviously
being
we're talking
taking
about
nukes
the
off the table. So Iran will not have a nuclear program for defensive purposes, but for actual energy, like using atomic energy for good and not evil.
Okay.
Apparently, I think that's what it is. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, U.S. I still don't think I never will think that it's okay for us to tell other people to do it, and we don't get to do it ourselves. Sorry, that's my opinion.
It's a valid opinion.
Okay. I don't necessarily agree with it.
But it's a
Okay.
valid opinion.
It's a valid opinion. It is a valid opinion. Us sticking our nose in everybody else's business is a bit pompous and arrogant and narcissistic. It's a bit of necessity, but it's still very narcissistic. Who made us king of the world, right? Was it the fact that we make more stuff than anybody else? No, China does that, right? Is it the stuff, I guess our currency is the most valuable in the world? Well, okay. But why in the world does America feel like they have the ability to tell every other country how to do their stuff?
Wait, I'm gonna put the brakes on that because this was not the U.S. telling a country what to do. This was the U.S. This was the the Russia. This was it EU3? So this is Germany, France, or the heads of the security, the 5 nations that make the UN Security Council plus Germany. This was plus Iran at the table negotiating this deal.
Okay.
So I don't want.
So what does Iran get out of it?
The end of sanctions.
Ah.
The end of sanctions, which they've had placed upon them for many years now.
Then they can make whatever deal they want.
And they get to host the Olympics in Tehran in 2020.
No, come on.
I think is it the best deal in the world? No, but as many people say, no deal is better than, or a deal is better than no deal, because otherwise you just have people going underground with this stuff. And so it's like trying to encourage transparency, which we should be doing universally. And should we be applying this to certain other allies who, unofficially are nuclear power nations, but not officially recognized, cough, cough, Israel?
I was going to say that.
Oh, really? Israel's not officially recognized as a nuclear power?
They're not among the 7 official, but they are amongst the 2 unofficial. I guess North Korea is now an official since they've tested. But
so because
Michelle.
Israel knows how to do it, but they haven't actually tested, they don't qualify as an official nuclear power.
They don't openly. They are not part of the what is it? There's the treaty amongst the nuclear weapon nations. They've never tested, but it's highly presumed that they do have the bomb.
Right. Or missiles, or all other manner of nuclear weapons.
Didn't we years ago have an episode where we rattled off all the nuclear power states, or nuclear weapon owning states?
Yeah.
Nuclear weapons.
Nuclear.
I am
Thank you,
looking for the
Chekhov.
nuclear vessels.
Nuclear vessels. So speaking of, I got to meet an NPR reporter yesterday, right?
Really?
So they had a festival across the street from my house. It was called Zine Fest or Zine Fest, right? And it was very feminine centric, and it was about making small zines, small magazines that are of extremely small production runs about various sorts of things. And so one of the things that they had a panel of 2 hours on, and there was a total of, I think, 12 hours of programming, and 2 hours of their 12 hours of programming was about podcasting. So what did I do but show up? So I showed up, sat in there, listened to what it was, and it was one NPR reporter describing how and when and in what way you should do your podcasting thing. And then there was another hour where they went through how do you structure a podcast and all these kinds of things. So I got to sit and listen to an NPR reporter speak about how she does her job. And it was a she. And let me just say, it is everything you would imagine an NPR reporter to be. You couldn't help but feel like she was a Jewish child of good parentage with lots of money in her past, right?
No.
Everybody hold their face.
No.
Jeff, come
Wow.
on.
Hey, come on.
This is where we do the disclaimer. The views of panelists on this show do not necessarily reflect the views and values of all the panelists on this show.
Jeff, that is an opinion. It is not an opinion I hold, but it is an opinion.
So Ira Glass is not
a
Jewish.
viewpoint, Tom? Is that a viewpoint?
Everything's a viewpoint. I feel like I'm going to cut to the end and say, and I'm saying you don't have to think like Jeff. You don't have to think like Jeff. We're just asking that you don't think like Jeff. Oh.
Okay. Well, here's my question to your bringing this up.
Yes.
How do we measure up?
How do we measure up? So rules as they go, focus on audio quality. Always do a background recording, right? So if you're going to do any edits, have a silent room at the beginning or the end for a minute so that you know what the sound of the room is. So you can run that as a strip underneath anything that you edit together, which will make everything seem like it was all one recording and it wasn't an edit, right?
Yeah, because you can reduce background sounds from, and
Not only
eliminate
can you reduce the background sounds if you have a recording of it, but you can also play the background sound underneath any cuts or edits so that it smooths the whole thing out. And that's really the primary, is to run that as a second track underneath any edits that you do. And of someone who has done some edits on this show, I can attest the fact that it always feels rough when you don't have something to run in between.
Yeah,
right?
So it's a baseline.
Right. So she says, do recordings in as dead a room as humanly possible, which we've spoken of at length in this. So she does it under her comforter at her bed, and don't let any particular piece of equipment that you have make an edit of make you not do what you do, right? So if you're going to do something, but I don't have my equipment, never let that be your excuse. It's always better to have some tape that's not perfect than it is to have no tape that is perfect, right?
So spoken like a journalist. She's always ready to go. Take a story as it comes.
Always have that microphone out.
The other thing that she pointed out that I thought was brilliant is if you're going to do a recording of somebody as an interview, calling them on the phone, the way to do it is call them on the phone, ask them to take out their iPhone or cell phone, and have both phones up to each side of their ear, right? They're talking to you on this one, and they are recording on this one. They email you the recording, right, of the tape sync that they're doing at the same time. You sync them up in post, and it's Bob's your uncle. You have a local recording that didn't go over the phone system, and it's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
But she says the trick is if you're using most of the voice recording apps, they do it in WAV format or whatever, that you have to stop about every 6 minutes, or else the file gets too big to email.
Good stuff.
Neat.
So
that
that's,
would
if
be
you ever do an interview.
frustrating though. Every 6
What?
minutes. Hold on. We gotta stop for a second.
No, it's just every time you're doing the interview, you pause after one question's done, that it's been 5 minutes, and you say, okay, can you we're going to do a little bit of tech here for a second. Hit pause on your, or hit stop on your recording, and then we're going to start another recording because I got a couple more questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you can do that, but if somebody's really frustrated, somebody's in the middle of a really hot story, that's just not going to fly.
Yeah, and her point of 6 minutes is not a hard deadline. It's just it makes it harder to email whenever you get it really big. So you stop at 5, and if you make it to 7, you're okay. But if somebody speaks for 5 minutes straight, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
What kind of app did she suggest on that?
She just said do it with the sound recorder app in iOS or any other sound recorder that's built into your device.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
She didn't even care about what app it was. If it's built in, it's always going to be better than doing it literally over the phone. And it's called tape sync. And they used to have producers that they would pay from local radio stations that would go out to a politician and stand there with a recording device while it was on the phone interview. And now you can do it all with your iPhone.
You sound like somebody that's been to J school. I love it. Nice.
What is J school?
Journalism school.
Oh, right, okay. I did. I went yesterday to journalism school. It took me 45 minutes. I know. You spent more money than I did.
Smart asses.
Oh. Okay, you want me to go to my other technical point here?
Do it.
All right, so I read a blog post today. Is two-factor authentication, 2FA, is it all hype? Right? And there was a guy who made a very valid argument that two-factor authentication.
Pause.
Yes?
What is two-factor authentication?
I will get there. The title is two-factor authentication is not really that valuable. Two-factor authentication is a way to log into something with two different things, right? And the concept, which is very sound, is you have something you know, such as a password that you remember in your brain, right? And something you have, right? So some magical key that creates a number that you wouldn't ever remember, or the ability for this person who's authenticating you to send you a text message, or your cell phone that has an app built into it that has some entropy or has some sort of difference between every other cell phone that exists out on the market, right?
So that's like when I try to log into my bank and I log myself in and they say, we're going to send you a text message with a code, and I have to then put the code. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's two-factor authentication.
That's two-factor authentication. It's something you have, which is a phone that receives that text message, and something you know as your password. And the idea is that it is better to have two-factor authentication than it is to have normal password authentication. And this guy's argument is that every single two-factor authentication method is easy to brute force, because they send you a 6-digit code on your cell phone, and how many attempts does it take to brute force a 6-digit passcode? Very few.
Sure.
Very, very few. So the
Humanly
concept
possible.
is that the implementation of two-factor authentication, no matter how sound the concept, the implementation has not been done to make it any better than a good, strong password.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, by brute forcing, you're saying they're basically throwing a book at...
Right. They just try every combination.
I thought most things, if after you tried 3 times and failed, it was like, sorry, start the process over again.
So, if I'm an attacker, that's a way to attack. You brute force it 6 times or whatever it is that takes it to lock the account, and then you have somebody call up to the bank and say, I'm, Joe Schmo, and here's my social security number, and here's my this, which are all publicly available informations. And then a sysadmin has to give you a hashed one-time password, HOTP.
How is my social security number publicly available information?
Where were you born? What state were you born in?
I'm not telling you.
Exactly. That takes the first 3 digits of your social security number is what state you were born in.
That I know, right?
Okay. What year were you born in?
That's the next 2. I got that.
That's the next 2. How many times have you called up and they've asked you for the last 4 digits of your social security number and you've given it to them? How many times have you gone through whatever, this, that, or the other?
Theoretically, a ton, right?
They ask you for your last 4 of your social security number and you just give it up. Because you go, well, they're not getting my whole social security number, except they're getting the really important part.
Yeah, good point.
They're getting the really important part, and they're getting it associated with your name, right? So you piggyback on some other site that uses the last 4. You get their last 4 associated with their name. You've got their whole social security number, because if you've got their name, you've likely got their birth date. Bob's your uncle, right? This stuff's not that hard.
Doomed.
So
It's
my point is that two-factor authentication is better than a bad password, but it is not as good as a good password.
What's your password?
Bob's your uncle. Sex, love, money.
Yeah.
I haven't changed my password since college.
Nice.
Mine is my student number from high school.
Nice.
I felt old, and when I went back to college, no one's using their social security numbers anymore, which it was implemented when we were going through college. But there was a point where I actually had to use it, and I felt very old in doing that and very unprotected.
Yeah. And when they passed the Social Security law, it was stated in the law, specific language that said the Social Security number will never be used as personal identification for government in any way other than for the Social Security Administration. But yet it's become our default human identity number.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So there you go. There are my 2 points of addition.
Love it. I appreciate the information. We're always trying to give information here on Speaker's Corner and imparting it to the world to let you all know, get your passwords more secure.
Profligatizing.
Learning new words.
I don't think that's actually a word.
We have made it up.
Tom, is that a word?
I just learned a great new word today. It's called procrastination.
Procrastination? Is that when you want to not do something, so you just sit there and masturbate instead of doing it?
Precisely.
Yeah.
I was watching a vlog earlier that like someone like one of the people who were in the channel wrote, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's the most brilliant word."
Procrastination.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's my gift to you that I've received.
So have you heard about Pluto?
It's messed up, right?
That's right.
I don't know what we're talking about on this, actually.
So Pluto is a dog that was created by Disney.
Yeah, that's Mickey's doggy.
Yeah, they killed him off.
He stepped on his ears and he fell over. It's really tragic.
Awful.
Very tragic.
No, we're talking about the dwarf planet.
It's not a planet, I thought.
No.
Nah, it's been retired as a planet. It's a dwarf planet.
It's never too old to be a planet.
Aww.
Yeah, amazing. Neil deGrasse Tyson is very vehement about it's not a planet. It's not. It's like, dude, calm down. I don't know what Pluto did to you, man, but you angry. But anyway, so the NASA had a
former winner here on this podcast, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's true.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
11, I believe.
He's
11
honored here on this podcast before.
We love him.
Two-time back-to-back champion.
2 times?
years.
11 years running?
No, 11 years ago, I believe, a NASA sent a probe out that's leaving our universe and has been traveling all this time, and so now it passed and provided us the most detailed photographs of Pluto, and it's amazing. It's gorgeous. First off, one of the most fascinating things is it's completely smooth and spherical, making us believe that it's much more younger because it hasn't been pockmarked with like asteroid strikes. Mm-hmm. So they're feeling it's a much more relatively younger planet, but it's just gorgeous photos. Because if you've seen what we had before, which was kind of like composite photos that look kind of just like very pixelated, now there's this just beautiful image. Totally look at it. It was another one of those NASA celebrating and jumping up and down, getting really excited when the photos came back. I also just read that it cost less than the public is paying on the new Viking Stadium. And the meme was Pluto probe cost less than Viking Stadium.
Nice.
Both had the same number of Super Bowl championships.
That's awesome.
I was like, nice.
What's funny about the image that you're talking about, Thom, is the one in 1996 is a GIF image, and the ones today are ultra high def. It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
You can do a high def GIF, by the way. You can do ultra high def GIFs.
GIF?
GIF?
Geif.
Whatever you want
I
to
believe
say.
it's pronounced Geif.
So do you know how many fixies there were in my front lawn yesterday when they were doing the Zine Fest? I literally looked at one of the handrails, and I counted 23 fixies. And there was about 8 feet of handrail, and there were 23 fixies. Not a single one had a second gear on it. All of them had only one gear.
God save.
Yeah.
God save the fixies.
God save
Yeah,
the fixies.
I feel like that's dying out here, so eventually it'll probably like
Come back down
Moving
here.
south.
Yep.
yeah,
great.
the wave of death of
Speaking of things that died, Amazon ran Amazon Prime Day, right?
Oh,
On the
man.
15th of July, it was the 20th anniversary of Amazon starting to sell books, right? And so they tried to throw themselves a big party, as I think in competition to Singles Day, which is what the Chinese group Alibaba runs on 1/1/11, right? So they have an event about singles buying stuff for themselves if they aren't with someone, blah, 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 on a day that has a bunch of ones in it, right? And so Amazon tried to say, all right, well, we're going to have a day that's going to be ours, and we're going to run some super special, and then we're going to try and compete with Black Friday. So I will say that it met Black Friday's expectations for complete lack of follow-through. Great hype and horrible follow-through, which is very essentially Black Friday, is it not?
I bought things on Black Friday.
Yeah,
I did.
I've never
I did
bought
not
anything on
buy
Black
a
Friday.
thing. I was annoyed by what I saw. I'm looking at some of the, like, we're going to put a BuzzFeed thing up. Excuse me, world, for putting BuzzFeed. But some of these things, 10 cents off your PlayStation 4. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better deal, Amazon. It just went on like. I don't even. I'll have to go through the rest of these. Go ahead.
I think the best comment, and I've saw many people tweeted this and commented this, was someone said like, it's like, what, did Amazon just like have a garage sale? Because what is this? What is all this crap on their yard? And for me, the most insulting thing is what an ugly, antiquated, really clunky interface for this amazing. Like, it was completely horrific looking and it was navigable, but it was just really kind of
retro.
Yep.
And for a company that really seems to pride itself on and has shown effective ways of, its algorithms for like, oh, you showed interest in this, I think you might be interested in that. Its suggestions were all over the effing place and made no sense.
All over.
My favorite deal, I think, was the 55-gallon drum of lube that they were selling for like 15. It was like a discount of $1,000. It was marked down from like $2,500 to $1,500. I was like, why do you need 55 gallons of lube?
Don't ask.
Actually, you get a big pool, one of those blow-up pools. Throw the lube inside.
No. A slip and slide.
Oh, God.
You buy
bounce house.
Oh, God. See, you people are now thinking Prime Day. Really, this is Prime Day right there.
We didn't
Now
know.
it sounds practical. Why didn't we buy that?
Damn it.
There's
Come back,
4
Brian.
pairs of gently used panties for $2.80 on
God.
Prime Day.
Yeah. So what did it get out of Prime Day? Some sort of postmodern experiment to see if disappointment can be quantified.
Man. God.
Yeah.
They were so close to being my asshat.
So
They were very much in the running.
I'm just gonna say when next year, when July 15th comes around, I'm gonna maintain that Prime Day is still about family.
Brilliant. We'll revisit and see.
Let's put the Prime back in Prime Day. And by Prime, I mean Optimus Prime.
That's right.
Because he died for our sins in the Transformers movie.
So Prime Day didn't make it to be your asshat. What did make it to be your
It
asshat?
did not. Yeah, this was a hard one because I really was struggling for this, but because I really thought it was going to be Amazon, but I'm going with an airline industry supplier called Zodiac Seats France, who patented a new seat configuration for airplanes, which will be the end of humanity.
Oh
now,
my God,
mind you,
I've
you might
seen
be
this.
thinking, when I first read the story, I thought, oh, I've already heard this story. It was the one of the airlines patented a seat that looks like a bicycle seat. It's like so basically you're kind of seated with no back, and a bicycle seat belted in. And I was like, but they were just kind of patenting it as an experimental idea. Probably never going to happen. This seat configuration, and it's going to be hard to describe. You're definitely going to have to Google, and I'll send y'all. I'll put a link in the.
God.
Yeah, I'll put a link in
Sorry.
the notes. What's the worst thing about flying, everyone? Or what's one of the
Screaming
worst
children.
Waiting on people to dump baggage on your head.
Stinky people next to me.
things? Oh, so the emphasis is on people, right? It seems like we all said
Yes.
people. So, you get in your seat, you just put on your headphones, you want to look at your entertainment and ignore the people that you're sitting around and just like get through your 2-hour flight or your 6-hour flight. Now imagine if you couldn't ignore that person because one of them is seated facing you.
Ooh, so this is like an old train where you have 2 rows looking at each other.
It's more of like alternating seat. It's not even like benches facing each other.
Ooh, I'm seeing this on the internet, and this is a thing.
It's scary, and also I think I don't know if I sent you this slide, but you're looking at the configuration, and as it's drawn, it looks like is that guy in the middle's hands under the other 2 people's asses. Now, for those of you watching who can't imagine the seat, so these 2 fingers are this part of my hand is a person facing this way, and this is so this is seat A facing this way. This is seat C facing this way. Here's seat B facing this way. So for 2 hours or more, depending how long, Pac-Man goes to town. You have the uncomfortness of not only being like already flying is stressful enough, but now you got someone that you have to worry about making eye contact with.
Picture, if you will, you are seat C, right up at the top. You got seat A and seat B that are a couple that are just making out the entire time, right? And you have to sit there and watch it, right? Because they're all lovey-dovey. They're on their way to their honeymoon, right? And you're just sitting there being brutalized of them playing tonsil hockey the entire time.
What if it's like seat A and C that are making out, and I'm having to like
they
stare
were together.
straight at it?
Right, and they're just doing it over your legs, right?
Over your lap, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So Zodiac, you get my Asshat award because there are going to be fights in the sky if they ever do this.
Yeah, but it's
there will be
really
brawling.
More efficient.
You can't buy 2 seats if you're a large person.
You can't.
Yeah, not happening.
That is discriminatory against sizeism.
And how do you get out of the center seat? Also,
So it's
this
all
is what
flip-ups.
confuses me too.
All of them are flip-ups.
Right?
All of them are flip-ups. All the seats are flip-ups. So all of the seats flip. Let me pull up this page and I'll send it to you.
Why don't you screen share it so all our wonderful
we got
fans
we
can
got
see?
it. We got a link on our showcase.
Okay.
And that's available to all the fans, and they can see the planes. We can also screen share, though. There we go. Here's screen sharing.
Okay, so these flip-up seats, that's what we're dealing with right there, right? So that's how they flip up.
Where's the cushioning? I mean,
That's the thing right there. See
7-hour
how close
flight.
that is? Look at this guy right there. That is how the people sit. This is what Tom's talking about with hands overlapping. Basically, you're setting your hand on the other dude. There is no armrest. You're setting your arm on the other dude's thigh. And asking him what he wants for dinner.
And you're getting drinks.
Where would you have a shelf to put your drink?
Actually, you can see the shelf. Go back down. And speak.
Okay, where would you see the shelf?
Look at the guy in the bottom right corner.
Bottom right corner. Nope, that's not a shelf. That's a seat.
His hand's not on a shelf?
Nope, that is on the seat. That is on the seat that's going the other direction. There
right.
is. Look at the real seats. These are your real seats. I guess there might be a shelf right at the top of the seat that they're looking at.
And the planes are made out of paper.
Just about.
Jesus.
I'm just sitting right here watching airplanes blow up in the sky.
That's if you know what here I got it. These seats are if you can afford to sit. Otherwise, there's a whole section of the plane that you're going to be able to stand in soon.
No, it's going to be an entire bay filled with that 55-gallon barrel of lube.
Yeah.
And you just slide around the entire flight.
Oh wow, how much fun!
Oh my God. That's a
Do you
whole
get
new
checked
meaning.
baggage at that point? They give you free checked baggage for that.
For sure.
Do we have a country that we should fly to with all this knowledge, Frank?
UAE.
Is that the random country of the week? Is the UAE?
UAE.
You keep doing this such a weird way.
And lube.
God.
So UAE, is the random country.
Okay.
Any facts? Anything about them?
They're in the Middle East.
Thank you, Frank.
We're
They have really expensive buildings there.
And, I don't really know how to go too much further into life than to know those two things.
Actually, they are pretty eco-friendly as well, if I can recall. Most of their
Eco-friendly?
buildings. Yeah, most of their buildings.
Well, they don't have a lot of resources to use, right? They've got oil.
And
anytime you dig a hole more than 2 feet down, oil just squirts in your face.
they were the first country to have desalination tanks.
Do not think like Jeff. Do not think like Jeff. Do not think like Jeff.
And
which is generally derived from fossil fuels such as oil.
Yes. So do not think like Jeff.
No, not all the time. Jeff actually is pretty damn smart.
I don't know about all that. Don't be.
Go buy your
across the
55-gallon drum of lube
Yes.
and go fly to the UAE.
But I am going to tell my entire internet audience, which I'm sure there are many lovely followers who enjoy my speech, as much as they may enjoy it, you do not have to think like me.
You do not have to think like me.
Or
Jeff.
there you go.
Lube.
You do not have to think like me, or Jeff, or Tom, or Frank.
Lube.
Frank, do you have?
I don't think, but I think about lube.
And we're going to ask that all of our illustrious guests come back next week and think, because we're here, the Sunday podcast about magicness. The Speaker's Corner loves to bring it to you. Whatever it is that we're thinking about, we're going to help you to think about it. See you again next week.
See you next week, Kate.
Oh, is Kate coming home next week?